Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. Thank you for attending today's ASHRA webinar, Elevating Retention, Transformative Recognition Strategies for Healthcare Teams. Today's webinar is sponsored by Bucketlist Rewards. On behalf of ASHRA, I would like to thank our sponsor for bringing this valuable content to the healthcare HR field. During today's webinar, please enter any questions you have for our presenters into the chat box. If time allows, we'll answer questions at the end of the presentation. I would now like to pass this webinar over to our presenter, Jarron Mueller, Bucketlist Culture Advocate. Welcome, Jarron.
Thanks so much, Mary. Hi, everyone. Really excited for today's topic. I do have the pleasure of hosting today's session, and I'll just start by introing myself. So I'm born and raised in Calgary, Canada. You'll probably pick up my accent as we start to go through today's session. But a little bit about me. I received my HR degree at the University of Alberta, but then I actually pursued my volleyball career with the Canadian national team and professionally in Europe. Through sport, I built a passion for culture and trying to get the most out of my teammates and also from the people in the working world now. So when I retired from sport, I joined Bucketlist and their mission to build the best cultures in the world. So I'm grateful for like today being able to talk about people celebrating every day their wins and their contributions in the organization and have them employees motivated to come into work every day, being happy, excited, and feeling a sense of belonging. So this all led me here today to moderate this awesome session. I'm excited to introduce two experts in the HR world, Jenna and Tracy. They're both Bucketlist customers, and they've both built incredible recognition programs from the ground up. Their stories are inspiring today, their insights are practical, and they're here to help today's conversation that's designed to give you real examples and actionable takeaways and how you can start to implement. So maybe I'll pass it over to Jenna to introduce yourself.
All right, thanks, Jarron. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenna Reycraft, and I'm coming to you from Minnesota. Similar to Jarron, you will also hear that in my voice. I am the Training and Development Coordinator at Lakewood Health System. We're a healthcare system in rural Minnesota. We have a number of clinics, a critical access hospital, and our mission is really to provide that personalized quality care, starting from all the way from childbirth, specialty services to our senior services division. I've been in this role at the organization for about 3 years now, and I'm looking forward to this time together as well. Bucketlist has been a great resource for us, taking our recognition program to the next level at Lakewood.
Awesome. Thanks, Jenna. And Tracy, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, thank you, everybody, and I'm happy to be here today. Tracy Martinez, I'm the Senior Manager of our People Solutions team here at Clarvida. I have been with the company for a little over 9 years now, and we have gone through some major changes here at Clarvida over the last year or so. Last year, we had a name change. So our mission now is to brighten lives in communities with access to care and resources that we need to thrive. And we provide health and human services through 17 different states in the United States. And each of our locations serves a unique need for our communities to have the greatest impact possible. And we range from outpatient services, residential services, foster care services. And we have recently changed our core values as well, but we are now touting compassion, inclusion, accountability, resilience, and advocacy. So I'm very happy to be here and a part of the panel today and looking forward to proceedings. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Tracy. So with this awesome group we have today, I'll kind of run through our kind of key takeaways in our agenda. So these are kind of the 3 topics we'll cover in our fireside chat. So first is to learn actionable strategies to design recognition programs tailored for the healthcare industry and healthcare teams. We'll also discover proven methods to boost retention and engagement through recognition. Those will be kind of the 2 big themes and deliverables today as well. And lastly, to learn how to align recognition initiatives with organizational goals like patient care excellence and take one step from the HR realm for your business too. So these are kind of our key topics. But before we hop into it, we wanted to hear from you. These are the actionable and takeaways, but we want to kind of launch our first poll. You'll see it come up here. We want to make sure this session is as useful as possible. So yeah, you can select those answers there up on your screen. We can, don't worry, the answers are anonymous. And this just kind of helps us tailor the discussion of what really matters to you. So we can just take a moment to respond. So you can click in there. We'll maybe have it for just a couple more seconds before we kind of hop in. Lots of stuff to cover today. So excited to kind of get some feedback on what we can focus on. 3 questions. All right, well, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen and we can kind of start and hop into the live questions. I think most of us have been able to go look into the poll, but to kick things off today, I'd just kind of like to ask our first question. So why is recognition so critical to healthcare teams, especially during challenging times during workforce shortages? And maybe Jenna, I'll pass it to you to start.
Sure. So we really revamped our recognition program. We partner with the Trust Edge Leadership Institute for a lot of our leadership development programming. They do a lot of research on trust and how it's like the most important thing within an organization. And they do research every year. And I know I've heard this research from them and from other places as well, that the number one reason individuals leave an organization is due to a lack of appreciation. So it's not so much, I mean, more so than compensation, more so than work-life balance. It's, do individuals feel appreciated and recognized for the work that they do? And so if that's the number one reason that people are leaving, that was where for us, it was like, how can we take recognition to the next level so that people do have that opportunity to feel appreciated and recognized? One of the portions of my job is I get the privilege of welcoming in like all of our new employees. We do general orientation every month. And I share that piece of research before I talk about what recognition looks like at Lakewood. And it's so amazing how everybody around the room just like nods their heads, especially those experienced team members. When I'm like, that's the number one reason people leave. And they're like, yes, it is. And so it's great that I can segue into, and here's how you can be appreciated at Lakewood. So that really stood out to me when you asked that question, that piece of research.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jenna, as you said that, I was like smiling and nodding my head as you said that your team is smiling and nodding their head. So awesome.
Yes.
Appreciate that feedback too. I think to kind of take the next step as well, I'd like to hear from you, Tracy. Just kind of what inspired you to start and implement a rewards and recognition program? And was there any kind of specific, kind of similar to what Jenna was saying, any specific business challenges or pain points you're looking to solve?
Yeah, so with Clarvida, at the time when we instituted the program, we were Pathways, Health and Community Services, and we had celebrated on a individual state level for many years. So when we looked to develop the platform, we wanted to bring all of our states in under our Pathways umbrella and come up with a nationwide recognition program for some of the same reasons. You know, we did some research too and saw that, you know, most folks leave prior to 5 years. You know, within the first 3 years, folks are leaving their company, and a lot of recognition programs don't start recognition until about the 5th year. So by the time you are ready to celebrate your employee, they're gone and they've lost out on that opportunity. So one of the things that we looked at doing when we were developing our program is we celebrate those mini milestones here and not just the major ones. So we start our program out at 6 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and then every 5 years after that. So that is something that, you know, our senior leaders really took note of. They really got on board with that. Our employees really love it because they're really surprised. You know, they're just like, oh my gosh, I get an award for 6 months. You know, that's amazing. So, you know, we had a lot of really positive feedback about that. And it's just like a small recognition award. You know, it doesn't even have to be very large, you know, a lunch tote or, you know, a backpack or something like that. And they're really excited about that. So just acknowledging and validating that they are of value to your company, it has gone a really long way with helping to propel our vision forward.
Yeah, love that, Tracy. I think being so strategic on the timing is such a best practice, like not just waiting till 5 years to be able to celebrate them, but what other milestones and what you can build up to just to have more touch points and more recognition. So that's awesome. Appreciate that, Tracy. Yeah. Awesome. So then, yeah, next one I wanted to kind of bring up too was before obviously using bucket lists, what was your approach to recognition? What other challenges did you face and brought you there? So maybe I'll yeah, start with you, Tracy.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, we were individually, our
Mhm.
individual companies were sort of celebrating those milestones if they did, if they had that recognition. So it was spotty, here or there. We had some of our agencies that really went gung ho, and they really did a lot to recognize their employees, and some of them didn't. So challenging. I had to talk to all of our different agencies and be like, what do you guys do? And hey, I borrowed from a lot of those to see, what do we want to do nationally? And really launch a national program for us. Our biggest challenge, I think, with launching nationally was our IT department. We have such a stringent, it's a phishing email, it's a spam email. So, our IT department would panic whenever we would send out these mass emails, and they're like, Tracy, what did you do? So, for us, just looking at trying to bring together all of our individual states and just let them know, like, hey, we have a nationwide program now that operates under Pathways and now Clarvida. So, and choosing the prizes was kind of fun too. So it can be a challenge, all these different things that you get to choose from. So yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Tracy. Yeah, Jenna, did you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah, for us, when I started at the organization, appreciation happened through kind of an old school method with paper shout outs. So the organization supplied different departments with these paper shout outs. You would write it out and then turn it in to like HR. HR would distribute it to that department. And similar to what Tracy said, every department handled those differently, whether it was kind of a public recognition at a team meeting or it was just an individual like, hey, you were recognized, and you just gave them the card. And I actually attended a recognition workshop like this when I was fairly new at the organization, and Bucketlist was partnering there. And I just loved the idea of creating this almost like social media platform for recognition at Lakewood. Because at Lakewood, we're not, across multiple states. We have, 900 plus employees right now. But even in an organization our size, and especially in healthcare, you have so many different departments. You have your lab department, and you have surgery, and you have clinic, and you have IT, you have clinic billing. And so everybody kind of creates these silos. And when we do an engagement survey every year, one of those questions is interdepartmental collaboration. And so what I loved about Bucket List is it was a way to bring recognition all in one spot. So when I recognize someone on my team, it shows up on that feed. Everybody can see the recognition that's happening across the system. So it's just another way that we can break down silos. You can recognize people outside your department. Those are even more fun. And then on top of that, you have to select one of our core values in every single recognition. So I think just awareness of our Lakewood values has increased significantly. So we definitely, when I started, it was like the paper shout out method. And then, thankfully I had senior leadership that was on board with like, how do we take recognition to the next level?
Yeah, awesome. And we're going to touch on that kind of later on in the webinar, chat a little bit more about that leadership side of things. But yeah, I love those best practices as well. Just bringing more people together and empowering everyone to recognize each other despite, what department, what location they are, to bring people together. So that's an awesome point, Jenna. And yeah, maybe I'll ask you kind of a follow-up question to that too, Jenna, is can you share a story where recognition had a significant impact on employee experience within the organization through those departments?
Sure, absolutely. We launched a number of focus groups at the end of the summer because we were trying to identify our employee value proposition. We call it our people promise at Lakewood. So I was able to lead a number of focus groups, probably 50 employees at all different levels, executive team, all the way to our frontline staff. And within these focus groups, we were trying to identify, what is it that makes them stay at Lakewood? Like, what are those sticky things about our culture that are really great that we can use as we're onboarding, recruiting, all these elements? And it was amazing to me in every single focus group, our bucket list and appreciation came up from all different positions, all different levels. People brought up, I love that we get to appreciate people, and I love that it is attached to a reward system as well. It kind of makes it more meaningful, I think, when you can, and I know not everyone understands the points and all of that, but when you can attach those points to it and then save up your points and redeem something you actually want, like, it just adds something to that appreciation factor. And every focus group noted that they appreciated that Lakewood is willing to put that money into it, right? It's something that we clearly value because it's something that we gift our employees every single month.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of give you a recognition for having just people involved, and not only giving the recognitions themselves, but how important it is to get feedback, that 360-degree feedback from everybody on how it's working as well, just to help with the success inside of stuff. So that's, yeah, it's a great inclusive program to have everyone kind of involved with having that recognition, which I'm sure will affect everything else too. Yeah, and I'd love to hear from you as well, Tracy.
Yeah, so our employees really love the program as well. We've had one of the things that we do after we send out our awards is we also ask them, how was your experience in choosing your award and, getting that through the mail and things like that. And some of the feedback we've gotten, one of our employees said their first thought upon receiving the email request was it was phishing. Like I had stated earlier, like a company is never going to ask you, what anniversary reward would you like to receive, So we thought that one was really, I loved that one. We've had folks saying placing the orders was very easy. It was simple, pleasantly surprised. They're happy to receive a reward that was not only useful, but very stylish. And then, we also have one of the things, sort of like what Jenna does, we have ours for our employee peer-to-peer recognition. We call it the Wall of Cheers. So we came up with a little cute name for it here at Clarvida. And a lot of our folks, they can go out and like in Jenna's realm, give those kudos cross-platform, or across different departments and things. So, I'm constantly shouting out our IT department or folks in operations and, things like that. We've had other people say, there's people go above and beyond, folks don't ever stop, and, they're amazing colleagues, and we tie those to our corporate values as well with the different cheers that we give to each other. And, just getting some of those comments, we've had folks say like, oh my gosh, you just made my day, so I mean, it's really wonderful to be able to give those different shout outs. And we, there's a colleague of mine, we take a lot of time to research what prizes and awards we want to use for our anniversary programs. So I love the fact that Bucketlist gives us those different options that we can give out to the employees, whether it's a gift card or we call, the Clarvida swag. That's where we come in and get to pick the items for our folks, and, or they can choose an experience. We've had a couple of folks choose experiences and said that they've had the absolute most wonderful time. So, being able to do that has just been, amazing. And we've gotten a lot of really great feedback about it.
Awesome, Tracy. Yeah, I think that the other thing too for amazing ideas, all of the see it in practice, and we obviously are helping track that recognition and the engagement with Clarvida, just to see the success not only from feedback but also from real numbers through like actual swag redemptions, and also how many posts are on the Wall of Cheers. So we obviously collaborated, and just to right away give a shout out to Tracy, because the redemptions in year 2 from year 1 doubled. So everyone was in there using it. And also from those stats that we saw in 2024, putting in a little more emphasis towards the monthly cheers, it actually skyrocketed in 2024 by 4 times. There's that many more people in there giving those shout outs and that kind of recognition, which kind of leads me to my point, obviously seeing those real numbers. So curious to ask Tracy if you kind of seen any connection between like having more engagement to any other kind of broader business goals or trends within your organization.
Yeah, actually, we have. So, our focus right now, is retention, and getting folks in the door and then retaining them once they get here, which I think is a trend most of us are going through, right now. So, what can we do to help make that employee feel valued? And I think just this platform and this program is really important for that, just letting them know through the wall of cheers, hey, you're important, you're valued. And then also with the 6-month and the 1-year anniversaries that we have, we do take a look, and we have been tracking like what's the most popular kind of a thing, and is it gift cards, and or is it the Clarvida prizes, or things like that. So being able to take those numbers back to leadership and say, like, look, it's really working. It's definitely, the numbers speak for themselves. And we had a little bit of a lag in 2024, but like I said, we had a name change, and we revamped all of the prizes, and all of our swag was updated with our new logo and colors and things. So we're definitely, the more we engage, we have a monthly newsletter that goes out, and we're putting information in there about Bucketlist with our monthly newsletter. So we are seeing like an uptick again in 2025 of folks redeeming and just getting on the platform and utilizing it, and just being able, I love that with Bucketlist, we can grow our platform to wherever we are. So the company meets us where we're at, and then we can grow. And that's one of the things that we're looking to do in 2025 and 2026. Jenna has some amazing things that she's doing that I was taking note of last time, and taking that to senior leadership and be like, hey, this is awesome, can we do this next? So excited to partner with Bucketlist on the things to come. So definitely. But yeah, I don't know if our numbers are just phenomenal, and the reporting that you guys have that comes out of the system too is very helpful for us. We've taken that and manipulated it so that we could be able to report and give those hardcore numbers to our leadership team too.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something a little more tangible to kind of see that there is an uptick. Engagement can be a loose term at times. So actually having something a little more directed around that, which we'll cover too. So yeah, no, appreciate that, Tracy. It's so fun to kind of hear the little examples and having people kind of being celebrated and seeing those exact trends, and even charts going in the upward direction. So that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and maybe I'll pass it over to Jenna next to just kind of in general those broader goals like patient care, burnout, retention. Yeah, is there any other kind of approaches from leadership on your side that says drive engagement and impact?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to echo what Tracy said as well, like we use the reports. I really appreciate the reporting that we can do. I mentioned earlier, we participate in an engagement survey every year. We're actually in it right now. That's like part of my job, is trying to get people to take this survey, which is great. We normally have a really good response and participation rate. But it's so interesting because then when we get those results and you see those departments that are struggling with engagement, we can pull our bucket list reporting by those, departments or those leaders. And it's so interesting how there's that direct correlation with like, they probably engage with the platform less. And so that's one of those things, right? That we can look at the reports and bucket lists, also tie that into engagement surveys that we do to see how people are using it. And they often line up. Like those teams that are highly engaged in bucket list tend to do really well in our engagement survey. So we can see those correlations. We can use it as well. We're going into like performance review season here. So being able to pull just reports by leader, how many interactions have you been posting in bucket list, whether it's liking a post or commenting. It's super helpful just to see like, hey, according to your survey, your team doesn't feel super appreciated. When we pull the data, it doesn't look like you're interacting as much. How can we up that for you? What are some barriers that you have? So it's just a tool for us that we can use in our leadership development and our retention, making sure teams feel appreciated. Other ways that we use it as well, I love the quote, like, we incentivize the behaviors we want to see. So we are a healthcare system. We value health. We value well-being. So we tie team members, if they get their annual physical, they can submit a form, through our software system. And I pull a report each month. They get 1,000 bucket list points, where they can take that and go on the platform and redeem something. We added something called a Safe Skin Award. So our wound care nurses were noticing an uptick in nurses, not being as responsive or not doing checks as well. And so they were like, how can we help our nurses, get on top of this? And so we came up with the Safe Skin Award. So they let me know 3 individuals each month that just really modeled really great patient care. So I think taking those areas that you're wanting to focus on as a system, and then you can link it through awards, through posts. There's all kinds of ways to do that with the platform.
Yeah, I love those specific examples of like an actual award that people can see and celebrate and do a direct activity to get that incentive, right? That's awesome. I know from your I know it's a question in the chat as well, but Tracy, from your standpoint, just trends are actually real examples, like even from the redemption side, right? Like you had some kind of more typical things that people are redeeming for and popular items.
Oh gosh, yeah. So popular items for us, it's trendy. It's very interesting. I love seeing the numbers, because one of the first years that we had our platform up and running, like we started it in 2021, and the first year in 2021, our most popular item was our Everest tumbler, a little cup, and our tote bags were really popular. Now looking at what we're offering, like in 2023, our auto kit was really, really popular. And then now in 2024, just last year, it's switched around again, and our trunk organizer has been like the most popular item. And I have to say, the trunk organizer is pretty darn cool. So I definitely can see why. So as we've grown with our program, our awards have also grown. So, the cost of our awards back in 2021 for our 6-month and 1 year, we had probably around under the $3 mark for those. And then now we've actually, so this is where the value of showing like how popular the program is, our leadership has said, yeah, let's bump up that dollar amount. And so we can offer, something even nicer to our folks. So, now we're in the $20 to $25 range, which leads us to be able to offer like a better, experience for our employees. But, we have auto kits that we, give out now, and heat and shoulder, neck therapy wraps, and cutting boards, our bamboo cutting boards. Something else that's been popular, our lunchbox and tumblers are popular. We have coolers that we give out as well, different size coolers and pop-up lanterns. So if the power goes out, so you'll kind of see like when summer comes around, those sorts of things, the coolers and the tumblers, and I think we even have like lawn chairs and things like that. And then winter, when it comes out, you're looking more at like the pop-up lanterns, for when the power goes out and things like that. But it's been it's been fun. That's probably my favorite part, is being able to say like, what would people like, and then the other ability is to be able to swap things out, like, hey, that's not doing so good. Let's switch it out for something else. So it's really easy to change things up on the platform. My contact at Bucketlist is amazing. And I'm just like sending her an email like, hey, swap it out. She's like, done. I'm like, okay. So yeah, we gift cards are always popular too, but I really like the fact that our swag has really sort of, it's taken off as well. So that makes me feel happy that, hey, I picked a really good item. So.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think choice is also really important as a best practice when it comes to the gifts. So you have like tons of different gift card options, swag, really lots of like experiences, other things that can really motivate employees, because not everyone likes to be rewarded the same. So Tracy, you're already doing an amazing job being able to flip things in and out, just kind of being flexible to get your staff motivated. So that's awesome. I was kind of curious also to ask, I know, Jenna, you mentioned some amazing ones, but Tracy as well. Is actual maybe more like performance type of awards that you're starting to come out with? I know like there's talks of like the like employee of the month, but Jenna mentioned the skin award and things like that. And any other you'd like to add to those types of awards?
I mean, we do like years of service.
Mhm.
We link to our bucket list platform, which was something I learned from Tracy as well. How you said that
Yeah.
a lot of people leave before 3 years. So that definitely sparked in my mind, like we should maybe do more of those milestone awards. But years of service for sure. We also link, we call them star awards. So it's kind of like when you have a team member that really goes above and beyond, in showing our Lakewood values, they can actually nominate them through the platform. And it's a much bigger deal. They get like 500 points. The manager shows up, our CEO shows up, they get a picture posted on the platform. So those are more awards that we use as well. Our senior services division, they definitely have a hard time retaining employees, and that's a tough job, being a CNA in long-term care. And so that's something we've actually been talking about with them as well, is because they were planning to do kind of a team member of the month, right? That other people nominate. And I was able to share, hey, that's an award that we could create on Bucketlist. And so then they get this public recognition, they get a badge on their profile. Great way to, appreciate people on a large scale in a division that it's easy in a job where you often feel overlooked. Like, I think that's been one of the biggest benefits of the platform is you're able to recognize, and our senior leaders can recognize individuals at all levels and everyone can see it. So it's kind of an honor to be on that platform.
Awesome, Jenna. Yeah, love those real examples too, the Star Awards. That's very common as well. Yeah. Sorry, Tracy, do you have anything else to add?
No, I was just gonna say with Jenna's point of, the senior leaders can see folks on the platforms too. One of the things that I really love is that whenever somebody gets a recognition, their supervisor also receives that email that says, hey, your employee was recognized, and that's really awesome because the supervisor is like, oh wow, hey, that's really great. We do keep that in the employee file, that they've received this recognition and they're able to, publicly say, like, wow, kudos, good job to you. So where they might not have otherwise received that public recognition from their supervisor, in the know, like there's a lot of times I wear a lot of hats here. So, to get a shout out from somebody, it's just in the course of your day, you're just doing your job, right? And somebody is rewarding you and recognizing the fact that, hey, thank you. Thank you. That goes a long way. And to have my supervisor come back and say, hey, great job, that's really meaningful as well. But expanding out our program, that's some of the things that we're looking to do too. And I love the fact that there's so many different ideas and different ways that we can do it. So, I'm looking at, we don't currently have our managers with points. I know that's something that Jenna has, they've got set up. So one of the things that we're looking at is, maybe they want to do an employee of the month and recognize them through Bucketlist with, a little type of Clarvida award. We have different platforms for that type of recognition, but tying it into Bucketlist, it would be it's something that I'm hoping that we can get launched in the next year or so. Being able to tie our two programs together and recognizing for, birthdays as well as, the employee of the month and just, different, I know our regions have different contests that they do. So having them be able to jump on the Bucketlist and reward them with points for those things too that's something that we're looking to do as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Tracy. I think, yeah, being dynamic is so important too with having people that recognize and things like that. And that's one thing just from our standpoint, from our years working specifically in the healthcare space. Wanted to make sure to share direct examples. Of course, everyone has some great takeaways from today. So I'm just going to share my screen again really quick. But we actually have a feature here at Bucketlist where we're just literally having conversations like we are with Tracy and Jenna, finding some of the best awards and specific results that all of our clients and people in the space have. And then you can just simply plug and play different things like this. So this is kind of our full catalog for real results. But yeah, the idea was you just basically heart that on the side and it can go right into your platform and run. So there's lots of different safety programs that have been running that are very popular. If you're looking for certifications or trainings to get those completed at a higher rate, with community outreach has also been very popular. So the idea here is to basically just be able to plug and play and take, I know how much work and how much time on everyone's calendar these days there is. So we're trying to take that work away from you and yeah, make it a little bit easier to happen. So patient advocacy award, that's also something Jenna mentioned too. That's also, yeah, a couple examples. Accolade All-Star, that's similar to the Star Awards. So just a couple real examples in here that you'll get these slides too. So you'll be able to hopefully plug and play some of these from today. The other thing, best practice that I'd like to kind of share and leads me into my next couple questions with this group is that these awards are also a little more specific and might help when you're talking to leaders within your organization. So it can be tough at times to get leadership buy-in with some of these different things. So we talk about increasing engagement, but a lot of times leaders will want to know what they're engaging with. So are they engaging with a shift pickup? Are they engaging with more safety practices and things like that? So these types of awards are a little bit more helpful. This is a best practice to bring up within your organization. So to build off that, let's hear though from Jenna and Tracy is just other ideas and suggestions from getting leadership buy-in and what strategies have you used to have your leaders feel empowered to participate in the recognition program? And Jenna, maybe I'll start with you.
Sure. I think it was, I mean, for me, it actually wasn't too difficult to get senior leadership buy-in. I think that the organization was ready for something new, something different. And I think, you know, I had met, right? I had gone to this workshop, I had met with a bucket list consultant. And then I was able to share that deck with our senior leadership team and really trying to give them the why behind it was like, hey, we can take recognition and we can break down silos within our organization. Like, how many times do we hear like, well, nursing said this, or dietary, you know, we like to call each other by departments. This is a way to bring team members' names to the forefront, to see that recognition is happening all over the organization. And so approaching them, it was really just showing them that deck. And then, of course, financially, you know, looking at the investment that way. And, you know, it was one of those things where we're like, okay, well, let's try it, right? Let's invest in this and see if it takes off and see how it works. And thankfully, with the reporting, you know, that we can pull, like after that first year, it was like, hey, we have a higher engagement. You know, overall, our engagement score in general with our Energage survey, you know, increased, right? So we're seeing that people are using it. People are redeeming items. I mean, similar to like what Tracy was saying, swag is a big deal. Like, we actually had to launch like a Lakewood store because of this, because people were like, Jenna, can I just buy the bucket list stuff? You know, our Yetis, our Stanleys, coolers, all that type of thing. People wanted the Lakewood gear. So I think just with senior leadership, it can help if you can tie it into, you know, where are those areas that you're struggling as an organization? And then how can this help? You know, and for us, it was, we were struggling with silos. This was a way to break them down, and make it worth it, you know, financially. And we can see that now, as I said earlier, with our focus groups. It comes up in our team member reviews. It comes up in our 30, 90, 6-month reviews. You know, this platform gets mentioned as a reason that people enjoy working at Lakewood. I think that was everything.
No, Jenna, that's great. I think that the biggest takeaway for me hearing that is just the like walking the walk, right, and leading by example, which is so important. So having them involved to be able to do that, that's cool to hear. But appreciate that.
Oh, And there was one more thing I'm just remembering, because you were talking about how can you like encourage leaders to use it.
Mhm.
And so for us, it was, how do we set our leaders up to be successful in this? And that's where when we were doing the point distribution, so at Lakewood, you receive a bank of points each month that you can attach to recognitions based on your FTE status. So part-time employees, full-time employees, I get 70 points per month as a full-time employee that I can attach to recognitions. But with our managers, they get 150 to 200 points per month, right? Because we're going, okay, leaders, we want you to use this. We want you to appreciate people. If we just gave them 10 points, right, that's going to be difficult to do that. And then similar with our VPs, our executive suite, they have unlimited points per month. So they're able to hop in and add points on. I've had a number of team members reach out to their VP just to be like, hey, I ran out of points for the month. Do you mind adding some on? So I think just setting them up for success as well, to make sure that they have the ability to recognize, because you can recognize someone without adding points, but it's just way more fun when you can add some points on there too.
Yeah, no, awesome addition, Jenna. Yeah, it's nice to tailor it, and you can adjust it as you go and have all that great stuff. So, no, I appreciate that. Did a great job of getting leadership involved. So, yeah, thanks for sharing all those best practices. Hopefully, people are able to use some of those examples as well. And then Tracy, maybe I'll share it over to you. You have been such a huge champion for Bucketlist within the organization and leading the charge within the organization to kind of get recognition up and started. So, I'd love to kind of hear, yeah, any of your conversations with your leadership and how that went.
So in the beginning, I partnered with our vice president of HR back in 2021 or 2021 to do the research on, which company are we going to go with? And I really liked the flexibility and, the buildability, if that's a word, of Bucketlist. One of the things that we did with our leaders, and I still do this, only because they keep requesting it, as I send out a monthly email to them to let them know who is going to be recognized during that month. And I split it out by our different areas. So, like I said, we operate in about 17 different states. So we have different leaders for our different states. So they get that monthly email and they're able to look at their state, and say like, oh, okay, if everybody redeems, this is how much my program is going to cost me this month. So we let them know, like the cost involved as well. And I quit doing that for a couple of months. And I had a few leaders reach out to me like, you stopped, like, why? Where's my report? Can I have it back, please? And because I wasn't sure if they were actually looking at it, so I had a few people reach out. I was like, okay, they're actually reviewing this, they're looking at it, and they're excited to get it each month. So I will continue to provide you with this information. So that's one of the things, and it gives them a way to like, okay, I see it on Tracy's report, yeah, like I can tell their supervisors now, I can shout them out, because before our senior leaders weren't really involved in that type of recognition either. So this way they get a high level view, and it's really cool for the employee to say like, oh my gosh, our VP is giving me a shout out that, they're happy that I'm here, and a happy anniversary. They'll get an email. So our senior leaders have become more involved in just giving that individual recognition, as well as, they get to see the dollars, in that spreadsheet that I give them, so that they can see, yeah, this is what the platform, it's costing, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. So, but those are, some of the things, and we're constantly, I am constantly like, somebody will say like, oh, well, we should do this. I'm like, well, we have the wall of cheers. Yes, we have the wall of cheers. You can do this too. It's like, how can we expand? Give us your ideas, So, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. And, they'll be talking about it to their folks in their meetings, so, definitely the more I talk about the program, the more that it engages our senior leaders, and then they more, talk about the program to their folks. And yeah, it's just, now it's hard to find somebody that has not heard about Bucketlist or the Wall of Cheers. So just that constant, I won't say constant, but occasional drop in the bucket, hey, don't forget about Bucketlist and Wall of Cheers is really gone a long way with us. So yeah. they're excited. I'm excited about the program too.
That's awesome. And you even had a little shout out on the comments on the chat, Tracy, for had the wallet cheers in general. So there you go. It's full circle for you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
From Jennifer. There you go. Right on. Well, yeah, I wanted to maybe kind of a few things more for us to chat about, but maybe I'll start with you, Jenna, too. I think that maybe to kind of summarize a lot of the questions we had, is there any kind of main like key takeaways that you'd like to share for the group from today's chat to summarize?
Let's see, like looking at some of the questions that were posted.
Yeah, just like out of all the stuff we talked about today, is there any kind of main takeaways that you'd like to kind of send them home with?
Yeah, I think it's like, I think I would probably leave everyone with that research, that I quote all the time. Like, it's the number one reason individuals leave organizations is because they feel a lack of appreciation. Even just sharing that with your senior leaders is like, we keep tacking on retention bonuses, trying to get people to stay, but what happens when they show up? Do they feel welcomed? Do they feel appreciated? Does their team come alongside them? Like the difference that it makes for a team member to be, with us for a week and their manager is like, hey, just want to make sure I recognize you, and show them a little bit of appreciation. So I think just knowing that that's the number one reason that people leave, I think it's worth it to invest in your recognition programs. Bucketlist has been a great one for us, but do something to recognize your team members. And also just one thing, I noticed a comment asking about IRS, do we tax our staff for the redemptions? And so just to answer Stacy on that, I submit a report to payroll. So it's like a bonus for us. So there are payroll taxes that do come out of their paycheck for any rewards that they redeem.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for covering that too, Jenna. And yeah, just pretty even with your recognition, like with the surveying too, and getting the real responses and strategically knowing that that's and to target that with questions to get feedback and support you. Yeah, just yeah, definitely a nice, great shout out and great info. Yeah, and then yeah, Tracy, maybe I'll let you kind of finish it off with some of your key takeaways.
Yeah, sure. So for us, just keeping in mind, there are a lot of different platforms out there to choose from. When it comes to anniversary programs and what they can offer, I can't tell you how many phone calls I was on when trying to choose a program. The important thing, just review them and you're going to ask more questions. Like their questions are going to expand and grow as you talk to each vendor and when you realize what's important to you as a company. We wanted a platform that could start out small with us and then grow as we wanted it to grow. And then, you kind of gain an understanding in talking with different vendors about the costs involved to get what you ultimately want. And, we were budget conscious, but we wanted to give our employees something nice and rewarding. So finding a company that's willing to work with you where you are is very critical. And Bucketlist did that for us. And they're also here to show us, which I think Jarron's going to do here in a little bit, some new bells and whistles, that the platform, will give you and interested in as we grow our platform. And then too, they're open to ideas from us as well, because there have been plenty of times, and I've met with some of your senior leaders there at Bucketlist as well. And it's like, can we do this? Like we had met with them about some of the different reporting functions that we wanted to do. And we were like, can we see this? Can we add this? And, so they said, oh, that's a really good idea. Let's take it back to our development team and let's see what we can do with that. So I like the fact that, you're here to help us and you're taking our, some of the things that we're looking at as well to help you as well. But so that's, my biggest advice is just, see where you want to go, dream big, but, understand that can the company meet you where you are now and also grow with you?
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate that, Tracy. I think that's my biggest key takeaway is that there's lots of best practices and lots of ways out there, but everyone's program is going to be a little different because every employee is different. I think that's important. So getting that 360-degree feedback, hearing these amazing ideas from Tracy and Jenna, and just collaborating to see what sticks and what's successful. Yeah, it's great. So thank you so much for all your great answers. As Tracy mentioned, I'll just kind of explain bucket list here in a little bit more detail. We've gotten some questions in the chat too, so I'll just kind of share my screen here. But as you've heard by now, obviously Bucketlist Rewards is a key part of the recognition strategy. We're the first to actually develop a healthcare specific recognition program as well. So that kind of shows you a couple examples there. And then today we've heard you've probably heard lots of great ideas and looking for ways to start or how to facilitate that recognition. And that's what we're here for. So you'll see a poll. If you want to hear a little bit more about Bucket List, you can click that yes. We're happy to help support and build the program. It can be a big lift and we're experts in this space. So we're happy to help provide templates, best practices, customizations, meet your needs, and help launch a successful program. And I wanted to just quickly share some other examples, and we were actually able to have an exclusive offer for the ASHRA group today. So a couple quick examples is how Bucketlist can help kind of roll out effective rewards and recognition programs that are as easy as possible to use and that teams love. So more importantly, we love to deliver results as well. So Tracy and Jenna have been able to share some great examples, but some other ones as well as we've rolled out a rewards and recognition program for Homestead, who's a market leading senior care company with thousands of staff. So after rolling out a program with them, they've seen turnover drop by over 40% at some of their senior care centers. Hospitals are also huge. We've worked with many hospitals and share best practices around there. One of these is Ellie Blumenson, and after their rollout, we were able to drop turnover by 15% to really try and gain some value. Now, a big reason for this is why customers love us so much is that we have this recognition based around healthcare companies. You can see this mobile app that people are on the floor using right away. We call it Healthcare Heroes, and we have tons of different functionality to build specific examples for the healthcare industry. I shared some of those awards earlier today, but also you can have recognitions, like automating all those milestones like Tracy was mentioning, those awesome peer and manager and supervisor recognitions like Jenna does so well, also helping with health and wellness and performance reviews, all that good stuff. Now, I wanted to share a great offer here that we decided to do for everyone on the call. We wanted to make it kind of a no-brainer for you to be able to try out Bucketlist. So for the first time, we have a risk-free way to test out a rewards and recognition platform. So we're going to give away a free 3-month pilot for 10 organizations, and we're also going to fund up to 1,500 of employee rewards within their platform. But most importantly, the point there is we want to guarantee the results. So if you don't see yourself lower employee turnover or increase employee engagement, you're going to get the platform free for a year. So just a reminder that it's only for 10 organizations. And also there's a second question there on the poll. So you can hit yes if you want to be eligible for this as well. My last note on this is I'm here feedback customization. We love the feedback. We want to hear what people think about this offer. This is the first time we're trying it. So I'd love to hear what you think as well. And while you kind of type in the chat, I'm going to hand it over now to Tracy and Jenna just to talk a little bit more about their organizations. Tracy, I'll start with you while everyone completes the poll question there.
Oh yeah, definitely. So like I said in the beginning, Clarvida, we are a nationwide home healthcare company providing services for folks in foster care and outpatient services and residential services across the United States. I work here in shared services, so I'm part of the HR department. But you know, to hear the stories from our people out in the field about utilizing our platform and our program has been definitely rewarding. You know, they've had a hard day and to come in and see that, you know, hey, you are being recognized for your anniversary, and they get to choose those items that they can use in their day-to-day. One story sticks out in particular, like over Christmas, there was a mom, she had got a set of earbuds for her little boy as a Christmas gift. And he was so excited. He just, you know, wore them all through Christmas. and didn't want to take them off. He's like, Mom, this is the best gift ever. But you know, so that was really cute. But you know, Clarvida, like I said, we did have a name change over this last year, but you know, incorporating our new values of, you know, compassion, inclusion, and accountability and resilience. I mean, I think just resilience sticks out most to me, just because, you know, we've completely done a revamp, and we revamped our program and are making it bigger and better. And, you know, our company as a whole is growing, and, you know, also making that bigger and better, and just really excited to be here and be part of it. So that's a little bit about Clarvida.
Awesome, Tracy. Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks so much. Right on, and Jenna, let's pass it over to you.
Great. Yeah. So Lakewood, like I said before, we're a healthcare system. Our hospital is located in Staples, Minnesota. We're independent. You know, we're a rural healthcare facility, and we're really proud of being independent. And one of the reasons that we're able to stay independent is, you know, one of our core values is innovation. So we're always looking at partnerships with other organizations. You know, how can we grow? How can we get better? I think Bucketlist falls right into that for us as an organization, is how can we stay competitive, you know, as we're looking to retain our employees and our staff. Other pieces with Lakewood, just in general, we offer, you know, primary care, specialty care, you know, services like rheumatology, oncology, urology, all of the ologies we offer here at Lakewood. We have a cancer center that's being built right now that's going to open this summer, that we're really excited about being able to offer our community, you know, cancer services that are close to home. Whereas previously, if someone needed to get, you know, radiation done, they would need to drive, you know, maybe to St. Cloud or Baxter, which is probably an hour away. So being able to open that is one of those services you hope you never have to use, but if you do, like, thankfully, it's just right down the road. Yes, and then all the way through senior care, hospice, home-based services as well. We're an organization that's growing, and if you're ever in Minnesota and you need to go see a provider, look us up.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jenna. And yeah, just feeling very grateful to be able to chat with Tracy and Jenna, and taking time out of your busy schedules to be able to chat a little bit more about recognition. Yeah, I really appreciate everyone else's time, and maybe I'll pass it back to Mary to kind of finish things off.
Great, thank you. I just wanted to thank our panelists and Jarron today. This has been a fantastic webinar. I hope we can all take this gratitude message into our day today. We will send out post-webinar contact information for Bucketlist. If you skipped the poll or had a change of heart and you wanted to reach out, you will have that information. We'll also share some details from Bucketlist along with a CEU certificate and then the presentation deck from today. Thank you, everyone, and thank you again to Bucketlist for sponsoring.
Thanks, team. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.